Why did they cover the tons of mummies with gold? How old is the oldest wine on the planet? What unknown virus was found in Siberia? What kind of alien hand was found in Brazil? You will find answers to these questions and more in this video. Hi friend, you're on the KirTop channel. Silence is golden. In Egypt, new discoveries do not cease. This time, a standard find by the standards of this region was discovered, an ancient tomb with mummies. But the find in the mouth surprised some archaeologists. They were golden tongues. During embalming, the original tongues were removed and gold ones were inserted instead. And also that the deceased in the afterlife could speak with Osiris, the lord of the underworld and the judge of the dead. This is one of the most important gods of ancient Egypt. So far, archaeologists have not announced the exact number of mummies discovered and how many of them had golden tongues. The excavations were carried out in the freshly explored area of the Khoisan archaeological complex, which includes ancient tombs dating back to different periods of time. The complex consists of 3 levels and each of them demonstrates different burial customs. The tongues of mummies wrapped in gold foil have already been seen recently in Taposiris Magna, a 2,000-year-old Egyptian tomb. A couple of years ago, archaeologists talked about the burial of a man and a woman who were high-ranking people in ancient Egypt, and most likely they even communicated with Cleopatra. Unfortunately, scientists did not succeed in thoroughly studying their mummies. Water leaked into their tomb, but the gold leaf that covered their entire body managed to survive. This confirms the fact that they belonged to the upper class. New Rune discovery in Oslo. The ancient Scandinavians who lived in Norway used runes in their writing. I talked about them in my previous videos. This time, archaeologists found a wooden object 11.5 centimeters long. 8 runes were carved on it. Runology professor Kristel Silmer has already managed to decipher it. The professor suggested that the wooden object was some sort of marker or label for something. This is indicated by the text which has been deciphered. First, you can make out the word Aspen, which most likely means Asbjorn. This is a common Old Norse name that often appears in ancient writings and is often written in Latin. The next text after the name was Omic, which means owns me. That is, in the Middle Ages, someone hung this tablet on some object or product in order to show everyone to whom it belongs. The full translation of the text sounded like Asbjorn owns me. This tells us about the trading activities of the city of Oslo in the 13th century. The ancient Scandinavians traded in imported grain, honey, salt, beer and wine, ceramics and glass. Asbjorn was probably a merchant who worked in the Clementsholmeningen area of Oslo near the harbor. But of course, these are just assumptions of archaeologists. From Norway, we will go to the world-famous Phrygian Valley. Temple of Maltash revealed. This year, archaeologists made a discovery in the well-known Phrygian Valley. This place is rightfully included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. The found monument of Maltash has a height of 10 meters and is actually the facade of a temple with a triangular roof and niches. At the moment, we see about 3 meters of the monument above the ground, but excavations have shown that another 7 meters of the structure is hidden underground. It has been dated to the 7th century BC. According to historians, this monument is one of the best achievements of the Phrygian kingdom. For more than 3,000 years, this unique monument was hidden underground, which helped it to survive to this day intact. Archaeologists had no idea what object they managed to find. The monument is located on the top of one of the rocks of Akasuvasi, which form the western border of the valley. For the first time, the Maltash monument was discovered back in 1881, but then only 3 meters were excavated and the technology did not allow scanning the soil to determine what was hidden below. The temple itself is considered rocky as it is completely carved into the rock. On the temple, you can see the text in Phrygian. At one time, Phrygia was considered a powerful kingdom. However, this state also fell apart and became covered with sands. Historians believe that in ancient times, not only wine was stored in bottles. Evil spirits in vintage bottles. For many centuries, superstitious people have believed in mysticism and witchcraft. This is confirmed by the artifacts that archaeologists often find in England. In clay and glass bottles, researchers find strange things: needles, nails, fish hooks, and even hair. These objects are called witch bottles. In ancient times in England, people believed that such a bottle could be a trap for evil spirits. They believed that hair and nails acted as bait, and metal objects could capture the spirit. At the moment, more than 200 such artifacts have been found in Britain, and they are also found in the USA, which is logical. After all, North America was once colonized by the British. Therefore, the culture and history of the last centuries in these states is similar. Most often, such bottles are found after the demolition of old houses. The residents of the house hid bottles of hair and nails next to the fireplace so they caught all the evil spirits that tried to enter the house through the chimney. In fact, a lot of such bottles were found, just often the workers did not suspect what they had discovered. Basically, they considered it garbage and sent it to the landfill, and those workers who suspected what this could be immediately got rid of the mystical artifacts that were fraught with curses. In England, in addition to houses, similar artifacts are found in the fields next to old fireplaces. Most often, people begin to believe in curses and witches when political upheavals occur in the country. People have fear and uncertainty about the future. By burying bottles in the fields, people try to save themselves from the drought. Superstitious people warn archaeologists to stop studying and breaking cursed bottles, because in this way they can release an evil spirit. There are stories on the net in which scientists died after studying such artifacts, but most likely this is either a fiction or an ordinary coincidence. After all, scientists and archaeologists are people like you and me, and therefore they can also get sick and die. Archaeologists were able to discover the next find after severe drought. 3,400-year-old city emerged from the river. Iraq is one of the few countries that has been hit hard by climate change. The south of the country is constantly suffering from drought. To protect crops, the government is using water from the Mosul Reservoir, which is considered the most important water reservoir in the country for irrigation. The constant collection of water helped to discover the ancient city of the Bronze Age era of the Mitanni Empire. The sprawling city with a palace and several large buildings may have been ancient Zakiku, an important center of the Mitanni Empire. A terrible drought has helped historians revive the ancient city, which was flooded over 3,000 years ago. Now archaeologists are trying to document the discovered object as soon as possible until it is flooded again. In the shortest possible time, archaeologists were able to map the city. In addition to the palace, which was visible from the water, they could see several large buildings and massive fortifications with towers. They also found something similar to an ancient store. One of the most important finds in this place were 5 ceramic vessels, which contained more than 100 cuneiform tablets. After deciphering the writing, archaeologists will be able to more accurately understand what kind of buildings there were, what role they played, and most importantly, how people lived in the Mitanni Empire. The cuneiform tablets date back to the Middle Assyrian period. To prevent further damage to the important site due to rising water, the excavated buildings were completely covered with tight-fitting plastic sheeting and covered with gravel. This will help save the ancient city from destruction for some time. At the monument, the reservoir is again filled with water and the Bronze Age city has disappeared from human sight. And in Brazil, a very strange find of an alien appeared from under the water. Alien's hand. Walking along the beach in Brazil, you can find shells, pebbles, small crabs, and an alien hand. And so it happened with one couple who decided to take a romantic walk on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. The bony, long-fingered hand looks like the friendly alien from Steven Spielberg's E.T. It would seem here it is, real proof of the presence of an alien on our planet, although not entirely. Leticia Gomez Santiago and her boyfriend Devanir Souza took many photos and posted them online. After all, we're the best experts on any topic, of course on the internet. The photo was stumbled upon by marine biologist Eric Coman, who debunked all the myth about the find. He believes that the hand belongs to a representative of cetaceans, the infraorder of mammals including whales, dolphins, and porpoises, and its creepy appearance is due to the stage of decomposition, which lasts about a year and a half. People have been trying for many years to find at least some clear evidence of the existence of alien life, but scientists always come who can explain this or that artifact from a scientific point of view. In this case, the find indicates that the cetaceans that now live in the seas and oceans walked on land 50 million years ago. Under the interdigital flash of the whale or dolphin flippers are 5 fingers or a 5-fingered limb. This is found in humans, amphibians, and a number of other animals, which indicates their common ancestor. A couple, in addition to photos, took a video of their hand to show how big it is. The biologist believes that this is part of a dolphin, of which there are a lot. Usually such bones should not be removed from the beach so as not to interfere with the natural cycle of nutrients in the ecosystem. But scientists are in a hurry to study the recently deceased animals to find out the exact cause of death. After all, this may not be the accidental death of one dolphin, but the emergence of a mass epidemic or the extinction of animals due to the release of harmful substances into the water. From the study of dolphins, we will smoothly move on to the treasures of the Aztecs. The strange treasures of the Aztecs. Archaeologists believe that a new find discovered in Mexico City will lead them to the place where the main emperor of the Aztecs rests. The lost imperial tomb has long haunted the minds of scientists in South America. This is the main goal of archaeologists in this region, the same as in Egypt trying to find the tomb of Cleopatra, which I talked about in the recent video. More than 500 years ago, priests hid Aztec sacrificial treasures near the steps of a temple in Mexico City. The cache includes the remains of a jaguar dressed in the armor of a warrior who is clasping an eagle in his arms. Also in the cache were many starfish and coral branches. All this was stored in wooden boxes. Scholars believe that this sacrifice was dedicated to Emperor Ahuizotl, who ruled from 1486 to 1502. In the middle of one of the boxes, they found something solid that they think could be the emperor's cremated remains. Perhaps this find will be a great discovery of the 21st century. The find was made in what is today known as the Templo Mayor, the main temple of the native Aztecs in their capital, Tenochtitlan. This temple was rebuilt 6 times. Each emperor wanted to be different from his predecessor. The exact date of the construction of the temple for the first time is difficult to determine. Most likely this is due to the founding of Tenochtitlan in 1325. The main temple had the height of more than 15-story buildings. However, even here the Spanish colonialists did their best and partially dismantled the temple. After the destruction, they used the stones for the Catholic cathedral. In addition to large boxes of jaguar and starfish, there were smaller boxes. One of them contained Aztec incense, the other contained 21 flint knives decorated with images of warriors, a miniature javelin thrower, and a shield. Nearby, a boy of 9 years old was found in a round offering. Most likely, he was sacrificed along with a jaguar. According to a preliminary analysis, both had their hearts torn out during the ritual. And all these excavations are completed by a pit with children's skulls, which were also sacrificed. The children were from 1 to 6 years old. As for Emperor Archaeological himself, his cremated remains are yet to be found. This might take about a year. On the one hand, you seem to rejoice at the new finds of archaeologists, but on the other hand, it's best not to know sometimes. While archaeologists are trying to find cremated remains, a virus from the Paleolithic unknown to science has been found in Russia. Virus unknown to science. The best finds are found by archaeologists when they work as a team. This time, the team consisted of French, German, and Russian archaeologists in Yakutia. In the Siberian permafrost, they managed to find two ancient viruses, one of which was revived and the second is not yet known to science. Viruses were found in the intestines of an ancient wolf and mammoth fur. The approximate age of viruses is from 27 to 48,500 years. The virus that is older is currently considered the oldest discovered in history. Scientists took soil samples in places where there were glaciers. An ancient wolf and a mammoth were also found there. According to scientists, a new virus previously unknown to science belongs to the genus Piroviruses. Its age is 27,000 years. Of course, it is worth studying the ancient world, but most importantly, let's hope scientists will not start doing any experiments with these viruses. We don't need another pandemic, but to try the oldest wine, why not? The oldest wine in the world. Usually, the oldest wines are stored deep in the cellar in some kind of castle or old winery, but for archaeologists, it's too easy. The oldest bottle of wine was found in the German city of Speyer, which during the Romans was called Noviamag, which is located on the banks of the Rhine River. And so, in 1867, a sarcophagus with a Roman legionnaire was discovered here who was buried around 380. Next to the warrior lay a bottle of wine, decorated with beautiful handles in the shape of dolphins. To be honest, the bottle looks more like a vial of witchcraft elixir, but in fact, it turned out to be wine. And the most interesting thing is that this is the oldest discovered wine in the world that has been preserved in a liquid state. Around the same time, the city of Grosskallerbach, workers found an ancient bottle of wine that was supposed to be a record holder. However, happened what archaeologists least expected. The workers uncorked the bottle and drank the wine. That is, the artifact was destroyed before it even fell into the hands of scientists. Most likely because of this case, it is strictly forbidden to open the bottle from Speyer. It has been on display at the Historical Museum of the Palatinate for many years. It is not even taken to various exhibitions. Perhaps they fear that some loader will try to study this artifact on his own. You are probably wondering how this bottle of wine managed to survive. During the funeral of a legionnaire, a 1.5-liter bottle was filled with red wine, olive oil, and spices were added on top, and the neck was sealed with wax. Spices with oil formed a certain crust, which helped the wine survive to this day. What was then called wine now has a completely different taste and texture. Wine in ancient Rome was more like molasses, which was diluted with cold water in summer and hot in winter. And in general, wine was a strategic commodity of the empire. Grapes were crushed in whole bunches without separating the berries from the branches. Therefore, the wine turned out to be bitter. Lead powder was added for sweetness, and honey was added to increase the degree. White wine in ancient Rome was considered a lower level, so it was infused with blackberries, cherries, and elderberries to give the color a high cost. And our channel is one of the largest channels on archaeology in YouTube, so subscribe and you will always be the first to know about new archaeological discoveries. Thanks for the views, bye everyone!